Well, good morning, or afternoon, or evening, whenever you're watching this. I'm filming it in the morning, though. It is Monday, March 6th, and welcome to Snow Church. I'm your host, Rev Snowflake. Well, where are we today? We are in Covington Junction. It is south of Landsberg area. Many of folk who have come to Keweenaw or Marquette or thereabouts have probably come up 141 from the Iron Mountain area and gone through Covington Junction. It's up there in elevation and is an area that gets pretty decent snow early in the season because it's inland and the lake effect snow bands can make it that far in early in the season. But at any rate, snowing lightly there right now, as it is in much of the UP and northern lower Michigan. We'll sign out of this one and I guess start out with the satellite and radar. The radar range showing light snows across far northern Wisconsin into the UP and northern lower Michigan. This is liquid precipitation falling there. And here is the actually 3-day snowfall ending this morning. Kind of zoom in on the Midwest here a little bit. This was Friday's storm that finished up. Well, then it scooted on over to the East Coast and picked up some more moisture and clobbered them with some pretty decent snows. And then this is the snows that have come down in the last 24 to maybe 36 hours or so. And like I say, this is what's going on right now across the upper Midwest. We've got those snows coming down. Not a big snowfall producer. This thing is pretty weak, fairly strapped for moisture. So just a couple of inches up across about the northern half of Wisconsin into the UP and northern third of lower Michigan. And let's check that out in the forecast models, shall we? This is the European, gone to the European first. So here's a snowfall in the next 24 hours or so. And like I say, about 1 to 3 inches centered across northeast Wisconsin, at least according to the GF or the European. And then the GFS, fairly similar. It's actually got a little bit more in the way of amounts. Some of this snow has already fallen though, as you can see. We are right about here in this time frame. So if we go out to 36 hours, which is tomorrow morning at about sunrise, there isn't a whole lot of fresh snow to come down. But just wait. I'll show you the GFS because there's a second storm. Well, actually, there's like 3 storms. There's another storm that'll be developing in the Dakotas out here late tonight, and that will work east and kind of fall apart and not do much. But then the third that gets going across Minnesota and Iowa on Thursday and then spreads into the Great Lakes region by Friday looks to be, well, depending upon which model you want to believe, a dandy of a snowfall producer. GFS is showing the heaviest amounts. This is Thursday morning at about sunrise right here. And then watch Minnesota and Iowa go to town, and then Wisconsin, and then upper Michigan, and then the UP. And this takes us to Saturday morning at Saturday afternoon. And what I'm going to do is, people are always asking, John, can you zoom in? Can you zoom in? Can you show a different And yes, I can. Watch this. We're going to go to the Great Lakes map. And, of course, I've got to go out all the way to Saturday. Here's Saturday morning. Some pretty dandy amounts. Again, I think some of these are a little on the high side. You've got 19.3 down there in beautiful Rochester, Minnesota. I spent more time down there than I care to, but it's a nice place and wonderful folks there. Marquette 15, Wausau 14, Green Bay 16. So some pretty decent amounts, but again, might be a little overzealous. Let's jump to the Great Lakes view for here as well. And then we'll run her out too. Oops, I gotta, yeah, all right, I'm on the right. My apologies. Here comes those snows for Thursday, Friday, and then there's Saturday at about daybreak. So it's still, both models are kind of saying the Minneapolis or the Rochester area, maybe across the border into Wisconsin, Bloomer area, sort of being the bullseye for that Thursday, Friday system, but no slouches across other areas. Basically, anywhere you see the fuchsias, you're getting up into the 9, 10, 12-inch range for snowfall. And then behind this Thursday, Friday system, especially with the GFS, are some lake effect snows that'll come in. So watch lake effect snow bands or snow belts, especially across the far northern UP. What happens to them over the weekend? See that? In early part of next week, here we are. Well, actually, there's another system that comes in according to the GFS by the first part of next week. Look at these numbers jump. I mean, Rochester, 28 inches of snow. It sounds great, doesn't it? Well, maybe not for non-snow lovers in Rochester that are ready to see the tulips come up rather than the snowfall. But again, like I say, a little bit probably aggressive. We'll go out to 240. There's 240 hours. Look at Marquette, 39.4. I guess the bottom line is there will be additional snows across the UP once that sort of Thursday, Friday system winds down early Saturday morning. Then Saturday into Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, some lake effect snows. At this point, it doesn't look like a huge lake effect event, but probably at least a couple of inches every day in many of the UP snow belts, because it'll be a north to northwesterly wind at times, maybe turning westerly. And that's a pretty generous wind direction, north to northwest, to give just about all the UP some lake effect snow. I think northern lower Michigan, especially northwest lower Michigan, will get some lake effect snows as well. The lakes are wide open. I took a look at satellite imagery over the weekend when we had some clear skies, and there's hardly any ice at all. There isn't any ice on Superior that would influence lake effect snow production. There is ice, like in the small harbors and stuff like that up by Thunder Bay. There's some ice. There's some ice near Duluth and obviously towards Whitefish Point. Even Shaquamanon Bay, that always ices up, but doesn't have an influence on lake effect snow production. So, man, what are we looking at? Well, we're looking at a pretty snowy period across the upper Midwest in the next 10 days or so. Light snows early in the week, and then as we get towards the end of the week, towards Thursday, Friday, more aggressive type snows, and then, like I say, perhaps another system by the time we get to the early part of next week to bring some significant snows. And who wants to just, for the heck of it, go into La La Land Haven't been to La La Land yet this morning, so this is as much of a surprise, like I say, for me as it is for you, but here we go. Anything, oh yeah, look at that, more snows for southern Minnesota. Look at that. Rochester, 42.4 inches of snow in the next 15 days. Don't worry about it. I don't think you're going to get that much. If you did, it'd probably turn out to be the snowiest winter for you ever. But it is interesting to see how more snows get added to the forecast, out all the way to March 22nd. So, more winter-like weather rather than spring-like weather, which anyone tuning into this channel is probably pretty happy about. For me, it's sort of just take it or leave it. Whatever the winter's got, I would rather have, I guess, more winter-like weather this time of year than warm, mushy stuff, because all that's going to do is just extend the slop. I like it when we kind of jump from snow on the ground to nice warm temperatures and you can be outside and play around. And we'll see if that happens. Winter's definitely hanging on for the next week to 10 days, maybe even 2 weeks, based on what the models are thrown out at us now. Funny how this all happens in March when we would have really loved to have had it happen in January, but it's the way the cookie crumbles. So that does it for today. Thank you for stopping by and checking things out. And we will talk to you again tomorrow. Keep those sticks on the ice and smiles on your face.